In this video, I'm going to take you through a series of exercises designed specifically for the knee. For the video, you will need a towel of some sort, a soft tissue or self-massage ball. This is about the size of a tennis ball, and then also a foam roller. I'll take you through 4 different exercises and then 4 different soft tissue movements that incorporate these, and we're going to bounce back and forth. For the first movement, go into an all fours position. And with this movement, I would like the towel to be placed underneath your knees. You don't have to have it there, but especially if you're having a knee sensitivity, this will help during the movement. From here, rock your hips back towards your heels while trying to keep your spine long, and then return back to the top. We have 30 repetitions here, on and off, pausing for 1 second at the bottom. Keep going back and forth at your own pace. And as you rock back and forth, keep your abdominals lightly drawn in. Let your hips expand and widen as you rock backwards. And feel free to play around with moving your knees wider or closer together. The reason we're doing 30 repetitions is to stimulate our nervous system and stimulate our muscles to let the body know that it's okay to go through this range of motion. I don't want you to push through pain, but I want you to stop at the point where you feel tension or extra stress. Back away, go back to the starting position, and then just try to match that repetition over and over again. Let's do 10 more here. After this, we're going to be using the foam roller and the soft tissue ball to work on the hips and the thigh area. 5 more. 4. 3, rock back as far as you can. 2 more, remember to keep your core engaged, reaching long through your glutes. Last 1. When you finish this repetition, grab the foam roller and I'll have you go face down on top of the foam roller with it resting right over your hips. We're going to be working on the quadricep muscles, which are on the front side of your thigh. And start off by just rolling over both of them by means of using your elbows to slide up and down. Once you're comfortable with this movement, turn your body weight to the left, which is going to put more weight on the right quadricep muscle. From here, once again, start going up and down, and now this is going to feel more intense. In about 5 seconds, we're going to add in another movement to help loosen up this muscle. Stop on a point that feels tense or it feels like there's extra pressure. Bend your knee. So my right leg's on the foam roller. I bend my right knee, and I'm going back and forth, letting my heel go out to the side, and then bringing my heel across the midline. I'm going to bring this leg out of the way so you can see again. Just going back and forth over that spot. Keep rolling in and out. You should feel more tension as you roll over that point of tension, and then you'll let it lessen and then come back into it again. Let's go 5 more repetitions here. 4, 3, 2, last 1, and then switch sides. I was just on my right side with the foam roller. I'm going on to my left side. So once again, to hit the left side more, I turn my body weight over to the right, which places weight on the left leg, and roll up and down again. With this general rolling, it's almost like your body is identifying what needs to be worked on a little bit more, and also just bringing sensation and awareness to the ideas of why it might be tighter. Don't place any judgment around why it's tighter, but we're just bringing information. And by doing this and by doing some active movement afterwards, that's where the real change occurs. Find that point of tension, bend your knee, and then once again, through the heel, go back and forth. We did 15 on the first side, and we're going to do roughly 15 here as well. In and out. Even though the heel and the foot is what is seen as moving, it's the hip that's controlling this. Make sure your core is lightly engaged so that you're not moving through your low back, as I want the hip rotation to be controlling this. 5 more repetitions. 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the foam roller aside, and then next grab onto your soft tissue ball. What we're going to be working here is the back side of the hip muscles. So just a second ago, we were working the front of the quads. Now we're going to be putting the ball almost back in that little divot or crease where your glute is at. I am going to start on my right side, but we're going to do both sides. So feel free to start on either side. The best way to get into this is start on your back and then roll over the top of the ball on that glute tissue. So I'm not sure if you can see, but the ball is right here, almost just below my belt line, and then back about 2 inches from that outer hip bone. When you're in that position, drop down all the way onto your side. If you need a pillow or something to support your head, completely fine. And then I want you to do small back and forth rocking movements through your torso. So you'll see my left leg is guiding this movement as I'm rolling back and forth. And this one should feel pretty good. Intense, but good. Back and forth. Each time I roll backwards, I'm feeling more pressure over the ball, and then it slightly offloads it as I roll forward. We have 5 more. 3, 2, last one, and then switch sides. Once again, we're putting the ball in that upper outer glute tissue. Start slightly on your back, then roll over the ball onto that upper outer muscle. I like to use this back leg as the rotational movement, or as the kickstand for the rotation, and go back and forth. At this point, you might be thinking that one side feels a lot different than the other side, and that is completely okay. I would say use that information. So cluster this finding with other things that you notice. What else makes your knee hurt, or what else, where else do you feel the most tightness? What other movements? By gathering all that information is where you can build the full picture. 5 more here. 4, 3, 2, the last one. Now put the ball aside and meet me on your back. With this next movement, it is working on the hip rotation. What you're going to do is take your left leg over the top of your right, and then you're actually going to use this top leg as the fulcrum to pull your body over to the left. So we're opening up the right inner hip and the right rotation by using the weight of the left leg. We'll do 15 repetitions here and then 15 on the other side. With each one, just pause for a second at the bottom and begin. With your hands, you can keep them lightly on your stomach, or you can open them up in a goalpost position. Whatever makes you feel the most comfortable, and whatever makes you feel the most protection through your low back area. Sometimes I like to place one hand there to feel the abdominals engage, as I bring my leg back. Keep going on and off. I just got an adjustment in my low back, and that is just a product of inducing rotation and movement across my hip and my spine. 5 more here. 4, 3, feel that working across the outer hip. 2, last one, and then switch sides again. This time, I am bringing my right leg over my left. And remember, right leg is over, so I'm going to the right side. We have 15 total repetitions here. And it's important that you go at your own pace. I want this to feel safe, and I want it to feel healthy. If this movement causes any inner knee pain, just don't go quite as far, because that inner knee sensation most likely would be happening when you get really far down into the movement as it gaps the inside of the knee. And if you're having some sensitivity, that's where you might feel it. 4 more. 3, 2, last one. And then once again, grab onto the ball. From here, we've done some stuff on the quadricep muscle. We've hit that upper outer glutes, and then we've done movement to get motion across the hip area too. It's really important for proper function at the knee. Now we're going to target the other side, working through the calves. Initially, we're going to roll the ball up and down the length of the calf. And so start at your knee. Use your hands to slide all the way down to the Achilles tendon and all the way back up. Here's our general movement. We're just priming the muscle, looking for any spots that are extra tender, extra painful. Don't be too quick to judge. It's easy to say there is pain or tenderness somewhere, so that's the source of the pain. That is usually part of a bigger problem. So we're taking together what we're finding here, and then we're using that with other information. Keep going all the way back and forth, finding different points of tension. And in just a moment, we'll stop on one of those locations. So for me, I'm going to stop on the upper outer calf, rest my hands a bit more so I'm not working as hard. And then I'm going to take my left leg over the top of the right to provide some extra tension over the ball. From here, as I'm pushing down into the ball, pump your foot up and down about 15 times. On and off, I'm pulling my toes down, curling under, and then bringing my toes all the way towards my nose and repeating. If that doesn't feel good, feel free to make full circles through your foot, clockwise, counterclockwise. This is really about what feels good in your body. We have 5 more. 4, 3, 2 more. Last one and switch sides. Again, start at the top of the calf. Work your way all the way down to the heel by the Achilles tendon. And you can work the inside and outside. If the outside feels good, keep going there. If you want to bring the ball more towards the inside, that's great too. With this introductory movement on the left calf, you can either have your toes pulled up towards your nose, you can have your foot relaxed. As I mentioned on the first side, it's all about what feels good in your body today. In 5 seconds, we will stop at a point of tension. And then pull your toes up and down. All the way up, all the way down. And at the moment, I'm not giving the variation of extra pressure on the ball, but I will go there in a second because I think it feels good. Watch your toes move. As you curl your toes all the way down, are they all going down evenly? Is your second and third toe curling just as much as the fourth and fifth? Does your big toe go over towards the other ones and cause those to move differently? Just watch how your foot moves. And then the second question to ask is, what can you do to influence or change that around? Can you give extra pressure somewhere? And then does that feel all right? 5 more. 4, 3, 2, last one. And then we have 2 more movements today. For the next one, go back into an all fours position. For these last 2, you don't need the foam roller or the ball. But we're gonna work out our calves and then we're gonna finish with some glute strengthening. From this all fours position, curl your toes under and then prop your hips up into the air so that you're going into a hamstring stretch. Now from this position, right now, both knees are bent. So we're gonna start emphasizing one side at a time. Straighten your right leg out, drive your heel into the ground and feel more tension going from the right glute all the way down into the right calf. And then switch sides so that the left leg is straightening and feeling tension all along the left side. We're gonna go twice that fast as we pick up repetitions together. So back to the right, back to the left, keep alternating back to the right and left. Each time as you're rocking your body weight into one leg, think about drawing the opposite hip down. So as I straighten my right leg out, I'm dropping my left hip and squaring my hips up to the ground. That'll increase the tension all the way from the backside of the hip down right through the calf. You might be feeling this in your arms somewhat, and that's why we have 3 more on each side. 2 more. Last one on the right. Last one on the left. Go back into your all fours position and flip over onto your back for the final movement. At the beginning, I said this routine is specifically for the knees. And the last thing we're gonna do is activate these glute muscles, which are very important for, let's say, the proper functioning of all the muscles around the hips, knees, and ankles. So let's go into that movement. This is a small glute bridge. And what that means is, first, you engage the abdominals. Second, you tuck your hips under. And then third is just a small raise. And at the top of the movement, my hip bone is higher than my belly button. If you see the opposite happening where you're really overarching, then you're making this a low back exercise, which is fine, but it's not what we're going for here. So go back down. We have 15 bridges together. Draw on your core, flattening your low back against the table or ground. Tuck your hips under, and then a small raise, and back down and repeat. Draw in, tuck and raise, and back down. In, tuck and raise, back down. Keep going at your own pace, thinking about pulling your core in, tucking your hips under. Each time I'm squeezing my glutes, I feel it really low in the base of my glutes. And for some people, this may cause somewhat of a hamstring cramp. And the reason that is that at this knee angle, you're putting your hamstrings in a shortened position, which puts them in a, let's say, a vulnerable position to cramp if everything's not working right. If that's the case, you can bring your legs out a little straighter and then try again. Each one has its own advantages, so there's no better or worse. It's rather, what can you do on this day? 5 more here. 4, 3, last 2, last one. Good. Hopefully after that, you're feeling the backside of your hips working. Thank you for joining me on this routine that focuses on a series of exercises for the knee. I'll see you next time.